Oh, what a gospel lesson, though. Jesus says, you are the salt of the earth, the light of the world. Salt, light. Salt and light. This is not how we're used to thinking about it. Salt of the earth. Okay, maybe. But you are the light of the world. And he says you, it's plural. It's you all, or maybe if Jesus had preached this in Rowan County, he would have said, y'all look at yourselves. You're the salt of the earth. Y'all look, you are the light of the world. That's not that's an amen over here. That's not how I think about myself as the light of the world. I think usually we think on our very best days as Christians, we reflect the light of Christ, or Christ's light shines through us. But that's not what Jesus says. Jesus says, you all are the salt of the earth. You all are the light of the world. There's some things I notice about salt and light is, for one, they do not exist for themselves. You never see anyone sit down for lunch and think, oh, I'm so hungry. I've been waiting all day for a big bowl of salt. No, you don't see that. Salt exists to bring out the flavor in foods. It exists to preserve food. It exists for others. Same with light. I've received, I don't know how many compliments over the years since I've been here about the stained glass, how beautiful it is. I always like those compliments because I did nothing before that. That was done before I got here. But not once have I ever heard anyone say, you know, Pastor, I wish you'd get rid of that glass because it's really blocking the sunlight. No one ever says that. That light exists for others. That light fills the room with light. That light shines through that colored stained glass, and we see images in the windows. Salt and light, they exist for others. They're also both very valuable, especially in the ancient world. Many times Roman soldiers would be paid in salt. And that actually comes into our English language. If you don't work hourly, you're usually paid salary. And that salary, that word comes from the same word as saline, salinity, salt. You're paid in salt. Think about light too. It's the ancient world. You couldn't just flip a switch and the light comes on. You had to get a lamp. You had to find some oil. You had to find a source of ignition because there were no matches. Light was a precious thing. The other thing I noticed is that it doesn't take very much of either one of these things. Salt, a couple pinches on your meal and you're good to go. And light, I mean, probably even you, way in the back, can see this candle flickering in here. One candle. How many feet are you away in the back and you can still see this candle just flickering away? And I think about salt and light, and what does that mean in a world full of billions and billions of people? I mean, how much can your life really matter? How much can you affect anyone else? What does it matter anyway? Jesus says you're salt. Jesus says you're light. How does that affect anything in a world of billions? I'm going to share through one of my most prized Bibles. I don't know how many Bibles I own. I have a lot of print and then I have a whole bunch more digital. But this is, I believe, the first Bible I ever owned. And this was given to me. I was 8 years old and I was in the 3rd grade. And we had a woman begin to visit my school. And I went to a public school, so she couldn't do this during school hours, but she said, if you will stay after school, I memorize Bible verses. And if you can memorize these verses and you stay through the whole year, I'll give you a Bible at the end. Now, in the meantime, we had candy and lots of little treats to kind of keep me involved. But at the end, to get a Bible. Remember when I got that, I was really impressed. Like, it's got full color prints in here. That was kind of unusual back in 1980. I'm a little bit older than that now. All these beautiful pictures, and I got this for free. She gave this. And I was one of about 4 kids that day who got one of these Bibles. There were maybe 6 or 8 of us that started. And think about that woman's dedication to come and meet with a group of students after school to memorize Scripture and then give us a Bible at the end. And the thing is, I don't have any way of thanking her. She would never know how she touched my life. I think she'd be happy that one of those kids went on to be a pastor, but I have no way of contacting her. The only things I remember about her is she was about 60 years old, but I was 8, so she may have been 40. Or she may have been 80, I don't know. I remember her being about 60 years old. I don't know her name, and I remember she was Baptist. I don't know why that stood on my mind, but she was, and it didn't bother her. I was Lutheran, we got along just fine. But that woman, even if I could contact her, chances are she's probably not alive anymore. I mean, if she was 60, she'd be about 100 years old now, and this didn't happen in Rowan County, so she probably didn't live as long. But that woman had taken time and worked with each of us kids on memorizing Scripture and to give me a Bible, which I still have to this day. I remember growing up reading this Bible, loving that Bible. That woman was salt and light in my life. She let her light shine. And I really think that those times memorizing Scripture was part of my faith journey that brought me to where I am today. She would have no idea. How could she? But spending the time made a difference in my life. And I think about all of you, not just the parents, not just the grandparents, but all of you who are here this morning and who are Christians. That Jesus says, you all listen up. You are the salt of the earth. You are the light of the world. Let your light shine before others that they may see your good works and glorify your Father in heaven. Let your light shine even in the lives of these children we have. These preschool children who go here, the children you meet in your families. The first step to a bold and brave witness to Jesus is in the home. We have been given everything needed to do what we are called to do. You are the salt of the earth. You are the light of the world. How much more could you want? And we get to share that light with others. That salt and light, we exist to help others. And even if there are a few of us among billions, that salt and light makes a difference. And that salt and light affects even the youngest among us. Because God is on a mission. God is on a mission, chasing us down with that love. God's mission is to make all of us